I walked a 200-ton rooftop chiller last summer the owner was ready to tear out. One basin clean and a nozzle swap later, they pushed a $300,000 replacement back 3 years. Hey there, welcome to On-Site Insight, where we talk about projects that move you toward equipment planning and away from crisis management.
No kidding. I'm Blaze. I do water treatment and chiller fixes in the real world. Today we'll walk what to look for in 10 minutes, what you can fix for a few grand, and what gets you real capacity back instead of a sales pitch.
Perfect. Quick promise to listeners. By the end, you'll have a field checklist to pull numbers and photos, plus the words to get a vendor quote that actually answers the problem. Blaze, start me with that 10-minute walk. What are the absolutely visible, immediate red flags?
3 quick things. 1. Visual cleanliness. Green slime on the fill, white crust on walls, sludge in the basin. 2. Flow and temps. Condenser water flow and delta T across the chiller. 3. Water chemistry. Grab a handheld conductivity or TDS read. Those 3 tell you whether to be worried about the tower or the chiller.
Right. When you say delta T, give me numbers I can put in a budget memo.
Aim for a condenser water delta T across the chiller around 10 to 12 degrees Fahrenheit on older systems. If you used to see 10 and now you get 4 or 5,
that's the number to call out for management, right? Pretty simple to explain. Delta T dropped from 10 degrees Fahrenheit to 4 degrees Fahrenheit, indicating reduced heat rejection at the tower.
Exactly. Also watch pump amps. Low amps with poor delta T often mean reduced flow or plugged nozzles, 2 fixes you can see and document fast.
You mentioned cycles of concentration earlier. If a manager asks, how do I estimate that without a lab, what's the fastest field math?
Handheld conductivity. Divide basin conductivity by makeup conductivity and you get cycles. Example, makeup 200 microsiemens, basin 2000 microsiemens equals 10 cycles. If cycles jump to 15 to 20 without scale control, expect scaling and drop in heat transfer.
Okay, 10-minute check. Photos of fill and nozzles, delta T, pump amps, and a conductivity read. Got it. Now, if you land on a crusted fill and low delta T, what's your day 1 low-cost play?
First move, basin cleanout. Dirt and sludge are surprisingly efficient at blocking heat transfer.
Right. I've seen basins that look like a swamp. That alone can change the game.
Second, nozzle and distribution checks. Replace or clean nozzles. Uneven spray creates cold spots in the fill. Third, targeted chemistry. Shock biocide if biologicals are present, and get conductivity and pH back to vendor targets. Those 3 often claw back a big chunk of capacity.
Give me realistic ranges. Are we talking a handful of percent or numbers that postpone a replacement?
Realistic, basin clean and nozzle work, about 5 to 15% regained heat rejection on many systems. Add scale control and biocide, and you can see 10 to 25% recovered in badly fouled towers. Controls changes can reduce runtime another 10 to 30%, depending on the site. Stack those, and you often buy multiple years of service.
That's meaningful, but I want to play devil's advocate for a second. Some facility managers worry that changing chemistry or pushing cycles invites liability or corrosion. How do you answer that in a budget conversation?
Fair question. Don't wing chemistry. Use a certified water treatment partner, install corrosion coupons, and document regular readings. If someone calls liability, show the monitoring plan and third-party verification. That calms most legal and insurance concerns.
So the pitch to decision makers is, we propose a monitored chemistry program with independent corrosion checks, not trust us. That buys comfort, right?
Exactly. Put numbers behind it. Expected regained capacity range, cost lines for cleanout, chemistry, and monitoring, and a schedule for follow-up reads. Hard data beats slogans at budget time.
Let's shift to controls. What's the fastest sequencing or fan change that actually cuts runtime? And sequencing pumps and chillers. What's a low-risk change there?
Sequence towers by leaving water temperature and set a conservative reset for leaving water set point so towers and chillers share load.
If you're trying to protect a marginal chiller temporarily, you can drop leaving water set point 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit during peaks to reduce chiller head pressure. Measure amps and delta T and revert if you see unintended chemistry or motor stress.
Nice. Documented changes and before-after numbers, amps, delta T, runtime, are the proof points. What specifically do you want in a vendor quote so it matches the problem?
Baseline data and line items. Provide the before delta T and photos, pump amps, basin conductivity, and run hours. Ask vendors for a range of expected regained capacity and separate line items for basin cleanout, nozzle work, drift eliminators, and control programming or VFDs. Insist on assumptions behind any single number claim.
Okay, time and cost expectations for planners listening. What's realistic for the low-cost fixes, and what scales up?
Diagnostic visit, a few hours. Basin clean and nozzle work, a day or two. Low-cost fixes often land in the low thousands. Chemical programs are ongoing but modest against replacement. Controls and VFD installs scale to mid or high 5 figures depending on tower size. And remember, don't overpromise savings without site data and a monitoring plan.
Quick checklist recap for note takers. Photos of gross conditions, delta T and pump amps, conductivity read, basin cleanout and nozzle service, partner with a certified water treatment vendor, and document before after with clear vendor line items. Do those, and you have a strong case.
And take the gross before, clean after photos. Trust me, they close more budgets than most graphs.
If you're ready to act this week, we built a 2-page checklist for the 10-minute tower walk, plus sample budget language and vendor questions you can cut and paste. Head to the On-Site Insight Resources page, download the checklist, and take one small step. Inspect the basin or snap a few photos. That small action often buys you the time to plan instead of panic.
If you want the troubleshooting script we hand contractors, request it on the resource page, and we'll share what we use in the field.
Thanks for listening to On-Site Insight, where we discuss issues important to the unsung heroes of facility management. Go look at your towers this week. You might be surprised at what a 10-minute check finds. We'll be back with another short, practical episode soon.